Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports, and this is the Cam Show. Happy Tuesday to you. It's live every weekday, high noon Eastern time here on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcast, talking Boston sports. Today, we're finally taking kind of a look at this full Red Sox offseason and how much better they actually got. Not what they want you to think, but how much better they actually got, both in the lineup and in the starting rotation. We will take a look at that. Plus, we will look at the combine getting started, who the Patriots need to look at, and how their draft strategy may change after we get some measurements at the combine and how that changes free agency and all that good jazz. Also, yeah, we've got Bruins Leafs tonight. That won't be embarrassing at all. Brad Marchand wants to stay on this team. Why? I don't know. We'll get to all that and more on this episode of The Cam Show. I'm Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeping us on the air as he always does every weekday at high noon Eastern time. We start with the Red Sox. We're in spring training now. They have gotten past the college teams. They played Northeastern. I think they played UConn too. UConn's a good team. But we're past that. We're playing kind of real teams and kind of real games in the Grapefruit League, which sounds like it shouldn't exist. But hey, that's what spring training's for. This is what it's for. It's about overreacting. Alex Bregman hitting that first home run. I'm all in. All in on this team. But seriously, after the Bregman deal, Red Sox fans and analysts too, talking about how this could be a playoff team. And I agreed with them. Potentially still agree with them. And it's funny, we talked about it, I think the day before the Bregman signing, or I guess the couple of days before. I think it was late night one night that Bregman made the deal. But I said, you know what? If you don't get Bregman, like, this looks like a kind of a waste of an offseason. And if you got Arenado instead of Bregman, it would be lackluster. It would be, okay, you brought some guys in, but not really the guys we wanted. Garrett Crochet, I think it's a good deal for sure. But when your ownership group is basically saying, hey, 3 guys out there who've all won, Cy Young Awards or won the World Series, Max Fried, Blake Snell won a couple, Corbin Burns won a Cy Young. We're going to get 2 of these 3 guys. And then all you walk away with is Garrett Crochet. That's not very impressive. But then Alex Bregman signs, and we start to look at the full body of work here. And that's Bregman, that's Crochet, that's Aroldis Chapman, that's Walker Buehler, that's getting some guys back from injury that you didn't have last year. And of course, it includes who might make the big club coming out of spring training. Those aren't off-season moves, but like the injuries coming back, you're just another year closer to getting Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer in the Red Sox lineup. So all in all, it's a pretty optimistic offseason for the Red Sox. It certainly is. And I look at the lineup projections and the starting rotation projection, and I think, this is a good team, man. This is a good team. In fact, I'm probably higher on this team than some of these analytics websites are. RotoChamp, which has projections for all these players, has their starting rotation, their leading wins man at 12 wins, Garrett Crochet. And they list 6 guys here. 4 of them have an ERA over 4 in their projections. But I think I'm a little higher on this lineup than some people are. I think Bregman's going to have a better year than last year when he hit 260. The thing I love about Bregman, and I know he's on the wrong side of 30, and there needs to be some, buyer beware with what you've dealt with Trevor Story, kind of getting injuries out of nowhere. But the thing I really like about Bregman is some of his numbers have gone down, right? The batting average, the power numbers to some extent, the extra base numbers, absolutely. Those have gone down. Not crazy for, an infielder on the wrong side of 30. But what's great about him is the advanced numbers, kind of getting baseball wonky here. He's great in the strike zone. He's still in like the 97th, 98th percentile in chase rate and whiff rate. And that's something he thought he struggled in last year. He's still one of the most selective hitters in the league, and he still squares up on those pitches that are in the zone. His barrel rate's not terrific, therefore the power numbers aren't great, but Alex Bregman gets his power from being an extremely selective hitter. And that is so much easier to manage after age 30, no matter what position he's playing. It's so much easier to manage after 30 than it would be a non-selective hitter. You know, like that's what made Vlad Guerrero so great, was that he wasn't a very selective hitter, but he was still a damn good hitter. He was still really tough to get out. And he did that well into his 30s. He's an anomaly. Okay? Alex Bregman is more what you see of these guys who have longevity and are able to be pro hitters for a long time, because he's had a hell of an eye since he got into the league. Maybe since he arrived in Baton Rouge at LSU. But he's got one of the best eyes in the league still, and obviously his defensive performance really brings up his value. So I think Alex Bregman, a down year in 2024 by his own standards, and he's admitted that, I think he's going to have a better 2025. I don't think this is just the standard case of, oh, look, I mean, 30 years old, has a down year, like, this is what you can expect. I don't think so. And I think Fenway does play well to him. I think it's not that much different from Minute Maid. But I think this is a real chance for him to step up. They also got Trevor Story projected to hit 230. Give what you want in terms of credence to batting average. I think he's going to be, if he's in the lineup, I think he's better than a 230 hitter. I still do. I don't think he's going to be, a 320 hitter, but I think he's like a 275, 280 hitter. And they've got his OPS under 700. They've got Bregman's under 800. I think Bregman could have an 800 OPS. And his OPS plus is still really good. I mean, as a down a year he had last year, 118 OPS plus. 18 points better than the league average hitter. Which, you looked around that Red Sox infield, most of the time they did not have league average hitters. Ceddanne Rafaela, Pablo Reyes, and Manuel Valdez, not league average hitters. So already that's a huge boost there to get a comfortably above average league hitter and Trevor Story added into that lineup. Here is the projected lineup, by the way, since I keep teasing it. Jarren Duran, Rafi Devers 2, Alex Bregman 3, Casas cleaning up, followed by DH Masataka Yoshida, because, by the way, they do have Bregman at second base. Story hitting 6th, playing shortstop. Wilyer Abreu hitting 7th. Connor Wong hitting 8th. And Ceddanne Rafaela hitting 9th. This is where I might get, I've already given you the stats. I've given you the nerdy stats. Now I might get old wonky baseball here. To me, the structure of that lineup is great. It's classic. I'd probably still like Devers in a cleanup spot, but I really don't mind him at 2. Jarren Duran, on-base machine, and one of the fastest guys in the league, one of the stolen base artists in the league, hitting leadoff, no doubt. All right, don't overthink it, okay? But what I do like about Devers in the 2-hole is you've got 2 very selective hitters behind him in Bregman and Casas, and I think that's why Casas keeps the cleanup spot. So Devers, more of a free swinger, although, as we know, year by year, he's getting more selective. I talk about that kind of Ortiz model, and he's certainly following it. So 2 things happen when you have him second. Obviously, you have the protection of Bregman and Casas behind him. You're going to have to give him some pitches to hit, and he can take some more chances as a 2-hole hitter to hit more home runs than he would as a 3 or a 4 without much protection behind him. Yoshida, I'm just not a Yoshida guy. I'm really not. I don't like having someone with that little power hitting 5th. Maybe I am thinking old school in that way. But Abreu still probably doesn't have the plate discipline to hit 5th. But that Story Abreu at 6'7", if those guys are healthy and they're playing, that could be, a dangerous bottom third of the order. It takes a lot of pressure off Connor Wong, takes a lot of pressure off Ceddanne Rafaela to just become more of a major league hitter rather than trying to be, a key part of this lineup. I love the way that lineup shakes out. And when you look at the pitching staff, again, I do like Crochet, and you run it down. They've got 6 guys here, which I think the Red Sox will probably roll 6 most of the year, mainly because 1 or 2 of these guys are going to get hurt. But Garrett Crochet, Tanner Houck, Walker Buehler, Lucas Giolito, Brian Bayo, Cutter Crawford. There are some definite pros and cons to this. The main con, like on paper, that's a good starting rotation. And you've seen good things out of all of those guys. The con is how do you trust any of these guys to hit 180 innings? The days of 200 innings are over, but 180 should be something that your top 2 starters should be shooting for. And I don't think they're going to get any guy to 180. In fact, the projections on RotoChamp don't have anyone going to 180. They've got Crochet at 154, Houck at 173, Buehler 143, Giolito 120, Bayo 163, and Cutter Crawford 141. We either have not, with any of these guys, we have either not seen them last a full season as the workhorse of a starting pitcher, or they're coming off injuries. Or in some cases, both. Brian Bayo, a little bit of both. And the biggest boom or bust for me is not even Garrett Crochet. It's Lucas Giolito. Look at a guy who, you were waiting to come back from injury, who, looked like you got a bargain bin deal for last year, has had some good seasons in the past, but it's been a while. He's not been a top 10 Cy Young guy or even an all-star caliber guy since 2021. A lot has happened since then. He's turned 30. He's had a major surgery. He's had an elbow surgery in that time. And, his best numbers are from 2021 and 2019. And you could say the same thing about Alex Bregman, but he's still well above league average. You look at Lucas Giolito in the years since then, when he's been healthy, he's been traded a couple of times. He's not really put it together. And he's a guy who was a pitch-to-contact guy in his 20s. I don't know how much I love that for a guy in his 30s. He already knows how to pitch, so maybe that's the benefit versus, Chris Sale kind of having to learn how to pitch rather than just blow guys away in his late 20s and early 30s after some injuries. But Giolito was a pitch-to-contact guy. His fastball wasn't terribly effective. He just got a lot of soft contact, didn't blow guys away, didn't get a ton of strikeouts, had some swing and miss stuff in his breaking pitches, but I don't love a guy coming off, basically 2 years off and was already a pitch to contact guy. And now he's 30, going to be 31 during the season. If he can be a middle of the rotation starter for you, a la, I don't know, the way Jake Peavy was in 2013, the way Nick Pivetta was the last couple of years. Let's be fair. When Pivetta was good, he was solid. Not really good, but solid. If Lucas Giolito can be that, if he could be Nick Pivetta for you, guy you just let walk, totally okay with that. If Giolito can be that for you, that's a win. Brian Bayo, can he be a top 3 guy? Doesn't look like it right now. It looks like Crochet and Houck are your guys. But if, and there is an if here, if you can get these guys back from injury somewhat what they were the way before, Walker Buehler, I think, is a more safe bet to do that than someone like Lucas Giolito because of, the way he looked in the postseason last year. I mean, he's also going to be a guy turning 30 this year, to be fair. But if you get close to form from Walker Buehler, Tanner Houck, Garrett Crochet for any significant amount of time in this season, I think you are a playoff team. And don't just take it from me. Aaron Boone is worried about the Red Sox being a playoff team. He said, I'd rather than be around 500, to be honest with you. He's like, I like the moves they made. It certainly makes this division better. He said he can make a case for all 5 teams to win the division. I doubt that. I don't think Toronto is going to be making the playoffs. I doubt it. I don't think Tampa is good enough to make the playoffs, but they've shocked us all in the past. I think the Yankees are still the best team in the division, even without Juan Soto. But this really could come down to the Red Sox and the Yankees. If the Orioles play down the stretch the way they did last year, they're not going to have the benefit of the soft landing spot of the AL East. The Red Sox are going to be in that mix. So, yeah, maybe Aaron Boone should be worried. Maybe the Red Sox are coming. And maybe, like the last two times they made the postseason, they'll knock out the Yankees first things first. One can only hope. But I look at this lineup, I look at the moves they made. Do I sit there and say, yeah, that's a team that should go to the World Series? No. But I am thinking, if that team is not in this mix by Labor Day, that's a disappointment. You could argue it would be a disappointment if they don't make the postseason. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to be soft Cam here in February. If you're not in the mix by Labor Day and in that playoff picture, to me, that's a failure. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the comments down below. And you can find us here on YouTube live every weekday, high noon Eastern time, talking Boston sports and, some other stuff too. And then you can find us wherever you find your podcasts. So check it out. Coming up next, the Combine has started in Indianapolis. Who the Patriots are looking at, and maybe a surprise pick at number 4 or number ? That's next on The Camp Show.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internix.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science, take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
Thanks for joining us.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
Welcome back. It is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network on this Tuesday. Cam Stewart, your host, Zach Burke, keeping us on the air. It's a very exciting time of year for the NFL fan. Boy, don't you just want to sit in your PJs, warm up, and watch an entire day of the NFL Combine? Boy, there's nothing I would rather do than watch these guys in skin-tight T-shirts and biker shorts and jumping and running and being like, that's the future of my franchise right there. I never really understood I understand the Combine, but I get so tickled every year when teams really take leaps, especially in the first round based off the Combine. Maybe it's too old school of me. Maybe it's too one-dimensional. But I just think, you don't win championships in shorts. If the Patriots had gone on, just off the Combine, they would have drafted Rick Myra 30 years ago, and we would have never had any of this. If they had drafted Rick Myra over Drew Bledsoe. But instead, Bill Parcells said, well, you know what? I actually watched the tape. And Drew Bledsoe made all the throws that we're going to ask him to make. Rick Myra didn't. So to hell with what they do at the Combine, And the Patriots have not always followed that. They traded up to get the fastest guy at the Combine 3 years ago. And that's how you got Tyquan Thornton instead of George Pickens. Doesn't always work. In fact, I find it tough to believe that most of those pro day Combine real leapers in the first round actually work. But anyway, the Patriots are not taking the Combine terribly seriously. They didn't send many representatives out there. Mike Vrabel was there. He talked to the media on Tuesday. Nothing crazy about it. He did say they're going to be aggressive in free agency, basically saying they're going to have to overpay for guys. And we know that. You are going to have to overpay. And one of their big targets is now probably off the board. Maybe. T. Higgins going to get franchise tagged by the Bengals. And there are still executives around the league that are sitting there saying, well, look, I'll kind of believe it when I see it when it comes to him signing a long-term deal with the Bengals or even playing for the Bengals this year. Obviously, they're going to try to do that so they can get a trade out of him and not just have to lose him for nothing. And I think that hurts the Patriots. I don't know that they have too many pieces they want to part with to go out and get a guy like T. Higgins, even though that's a really important position. They would rather just spend money. They would rather overpay for T. Higgins, which is why they're now the favorite to get Stephon Diggs out of free agency. Because if it costs money, the Patriots will do it. That's not an excuse for the Patriots. They have money. It's this trading assets thing. Phil Perry did a nice breakdown of it. He was talking about how other teams in the league really seem to value Pop Douglas more than I don't want to say more than the Patriots do, but more than Patriots fans do. I like Pop Douglas. I do. But I've said it already in this offseason, this is a make or break year for him. If he's not coming out and being a legit NFL receiver, then what are we doing here? He's just a poor man's Danny Amendola. And even a rich man's Danny Amendola was an okay player in the regular season. So it's not going to get you very far. But other teams around the league seem to really think that Pop Douglas is a good player and that the Patriots just aren't using him very well. And that could well change with Josh McDaniels, right? But maybe there is some value there. But other than that, you've got a bunch of veterans that I just don't know how much you're going to get for them. And I don't think you're going to get a player of T. Higgins' caliber for Ramondre Stevenson or Kyle Duggar. I just don't see it. I think you can get some decent draft capital for them, but I don't think you're going to get a T. Higgins type of deal. So if that's the case, and it does become you need to trade for T. Higgins situation, I think the Patriots are going to look at other options. DK Metcalf is a name that pops up a lot. DK's a freak, man, and he was a great player. I don't know what the next 3 years look like of DK Metcalf. He's had some big injuries here. He's never been a great route runner, been very much an improv guy. I don't think that's what you need for your young quarterback and your culture-shifting team. With Geno Smith, guy who'd been around the block, like veteran QB, knows what's going on. That kind of playmaker is nice for him. But Drake May, who is trying to learn still how this NFL game works, and with a very demanding offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels in terms of knowing the playbook, knowing the routes, DK Metcalf is not a fit there, to the point where I doubt the Patriots are even thinking about DK Metcalf. Like, genuinely. I don't think they see him as an option. I think they would much rather have a Stephon Diggs, who has less route running issues. But T. Higgins, I think they've more or less made clear in the back channels that's the guy that they would want to go at wide receiver. But if it comes down to trading for him, I don't think the Patriots have the bat speed. I don't think the Patriots have the offer. And I do like that Mike Vrabel was honest with us. I guess he was honest, but didn't really say the elephant in the room part of it. But he said, we've got to be aggressive in free agency. And he put it like this, if there's a car that you really want, like really, really are dying to get, and there's 3 or 4 of those cars out there, you're probably not going to have to overpay. But if there's one of those cars out there, you're going to have to overpay. And that's what you're looking at, especially at the wide receiver position and definitely at left tackle. All roads point to Ronnie Stanley, but that's not going to be an easy thing to do. That's not going to be an easy thing to pry him away from Baltimore. And if he does get out of Baltimore and hit the market, then yeah, overpay to the hilt for a 31, 32-year-old left tackle. I don't care. You need him. You need somebody. No one's going to give him long-term money. If it's short-term and that's all it's going to cost you is money, you might as well. Because that'll have an impact right away. That'll instantly make your team better by making your offensive line better and giving Drake May more time to make plays. Instantly makes your team better. So I'm fascinated to see how the Patriots handle that and how they become a better team. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments below, who the Patriots should be going after and what they could possibly be giving up. 2nd round pick? Is that all it's going to take? 2nd round pick and a player for T. Higgins? I might do it in that sense. I just don't know if that's what it's going to take. Let me know down in the comments below. In terms of the actual combine happening, combine starts. Patriots are going to have, obviously, a keen eye on some prospects with the number 4 pick in the draft. It's going to come down to measurements big time. All right? As it does with all men at some point in our lives, it comes down to measurements, and these inches are really going to matter, folks. Will Campbell is still regarded as the top tackle prospect in the draft. And unlike most years, the question that follows that is Will Campbell a tackle? 33 inches, that's the magic number. Not for that, gentlemen, but for arm length. If he's got over 33 inches in his arm length, bam, automatically he's a tackle. If it's 32 3/4, no, he's not. He's not a tackle. These things might get overblown sometimes, but if you're the Patriots and you desperately need to improve that position, I don't think it's a chance you can take. Now, I will say this in Will Campbell's defense, because I'll say it about another prospect in a minute. The dude can flat out play. And he plays at a very high level in the SEC. He was a unanimous All-American. And he doesn't allow sacks. At the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. But also at the end of the day, as much as the SEC wants to believe it's the AAA of the minor league, or of the NFL, as much as they want to believe that, there are bigger, stronger, more athletic guys on every NFL team. This ain't the SEC. We see plenty of SEC guys flame out too. So that is a very important number to get to 33 inches rather than 32 3/4. And I think Bill Parcells had the great line about it. What did he say? It was something along the lines of, yeah, if you make an exception for a guy based on talent that doesn't hit your standards, then you're going to have a team full of exceptions. You got to have a standard. And trust me, all these NFL teams have that kind of standard, that 33 for a tackle. It's not something they mess around with. And that's where it could hurt Will Campbell a little bit. And if that's your best option at 4, I would trade back. And I think a lot of experts would tell you that too. Mel Kiper still got him going at number 4. I see plenty of opportunities to trade for a team that is looking at a quarterback and maybe even a team that's looking at pass rush. Because that goes into my next prospect I want to look at, and that's Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. Another guy, a lot like Will Campbell, man, undersized, but just wins his battles and is a damn good defensive tackle. In fact, he was also a unanimous All-American. And I watched the tape of Mason Graham, and I'm like, boy, he's not Abdul Carter, not quite, but the man wreaks havoc. And he plays all 4 downs. Like, I'm in on that. I'm not saying he's the next Vince Wilfork, but he's got some Vince Wilfork in him. Like, he's got some sneaky athleticism, can get after the quarterback a little bit. And obviously a monster in the middle. Wrestling background. He's like the prototypical, just like great wrestler turned football player. And Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL expert, draft expert, had a great quote on him the other day. He said, I hope teams don't overthink Mason Graham because his measurables are not going to be good. But the dude is just a flat out good football player. And he said he never ends up on his back. So you can talk about how undersized he is all you want. If he never ends up on his back, that means it's not too big for him. But I can't be that guy that says don't draft Will Campbell because his arms might be a little bit too short and then say, well, ignore the measurables for Mason Graham. I think they both have upside. I think they both have tape that pops, which some teams are just going to say, you know what? That's what I really want. A team like San Francisco, bad season last year, 24th in defensive sacks in the entire National Football League, and picking 11th. They could see that and say, you know what? Why don't we get to 4? Maybe it takes an extra team to get in on this trade, but let's get to 4 so we can make sure we get Mason Graham. Or someone who might want a quarterback is saying, hey, let's, at 7 or 8, the Jets are at 7, I think, maybe 8. Let's move down to 4. Let's get Shedeur Sanders, because Cam Ward's probably going to be the one that's taken off the board. Some combination of Carter, Hunter, and Cam Ward. Let's trade down to 4 to get Shedeur Sanders on the Jets. And then the Patriots are sitting there at 8. And they've got options. Maybe you can take a risk at Will Campbell at 8. Probably not if you don't deem him good enough at 4. But Kelvin Banks is another tackle that's put in that position. Maybe Mason Graham does drop all the way down to 8. I doubt it. But there are other guys. The corner from Michigan, drawing a total blank on his name. I was just looking at this kid the other day. Jalen Walker, by the way, the linebacker from Georgia, who won the Butkus Award. He's going to be available at 8. By the way, Jets picking at 7. He'll be available at 7. Will Johnson is the cornerback from Michigan. That's one I think that, hey, if you're all in on Travis Hunter, I know he can play 2 positions, and that's why he's such a sexy prospect. But if you were willing to go Travis Hunter at 4 and say, hey, we could really use some bolstering to our cornerback position as well, and Mike Vrabel's talked about how important the slot corner, that nickel corner, is for the way that he wants to play. If that's such an important position to you that you're willing to draft Travis Hunter at 4, you can take Will Johnson at 7 or 8 or 11 in a trade back and say, you know what, we really do value this position. And we've got a guy in Will Johnson who's really not that far off from Travis Hunter as a corner. Travis Hunter is still the best corner, but they're not that far apart. All the analysts, all the mock drafts have him as like, yep, Hunter's still the guy, but we're talking percentage points down below in Will Johnson. So all that to say, the prospects that they're looking at here, if Will Campbell and Mason Graham don't meet the measurables that Mike Vrabel has as the standard, there's still plenty of options in terms of trading back and getting a good player and a position that you were already looking at and a premium that you were already putting on those positions. I don't know. I think there's going to be plenty of options for the Patriots. They fucked up their best option, which was the number 1 pick in the draft, and we wouldn't have to worry about any of this. You'd have Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and that's the only debate we'd be having, but you wouldn't be competing with anybody. Now, you screwed yourself over. You're probably not going to get either of those guys. There's still a chance of Travis Hunter at 4, which would be amazing. He's not going to do any of the combine stuff, so maybe one of these guys has an incredible combine and they go and pick him instead at 3 and Travis Hunter falls to 4, or whichever one is not going to pick the quarterback. And then you're in business. But until then, trading might be your best option, and that's not a bad thing. That's not like saying Voldemort for the way this team is right now. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe. Helps out the channel a ton. You can also find us wherever you find your podcasts as well. We're live on YouTube every day, high noon Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts. So let me know down in the comments below. The Cam Show is going to roll on. We're going to talk about the Bruins a little bit. They got a big game tonight against the Leafs, but it's really what's going on behind the scenes. Why would Brad Marchand want to stay here? We'll talk about that next on the Cam Show.
Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
I need to get real excited.
Sure.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Sheridan Vasquez. And this is Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions. And I will be interviewing some of your favorite musicians and maybe some you've never heard before. Join me on Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions for something new every time. You can find Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemediamusic.com. Yeehaw. And keep the music playing.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Visit blogify.ai today for a free 3-day trial. That's Blogify, BLOGIFY.ai today. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at esimx.com. That's ESIMX.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Easy Sun has been living fearlessly under the sun since 2016. Born from sailors' need for convenient sun protection, our mineral sunscreen is crafted with natural ingredients offering broad spectrum protection against UVA and UVB rays. Safe for your skin and the environment, stay protected on the go with Easy Sun, your ultimate sun care solution. Visit EasySun.com today. That's EEZYSUN.com.
We are back here on the Cam Show, live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. We're here every weekday, by the way, live in your lunch hour, and then wherever you get your podcasts. Like, no doubt, we're bringing it to you, no matter what's happening in the Boston sports world and beyond. Fucking Buzz Lightyear up here. I'm Cam Stewart, Zach Burke, producing and keeping us on the air today. We've already talked about the Red Sox and how this lineup and rotation could actually bring them to the postseason. Like, not crazy at all. And also who the Patriots need to be looking at, not only in free agency, but how this ever-changing draft strategy is panning out, especially as we start with the NFL Combine, the draft combine, which is going on right now in Indianapolis in the shadow of St. Elmo's fire and Hinkle Fieldhouse and Plump's last shot. Anyway, this is me just naming places in Indianapolis, which is a place I've never been. And then the Bruins are also still playing. Bruins get the Leafs tonight. And let me just say this. I am almost happy that the Bruins are not going to be playing the Leafs in the playoffs. That would have been bad. That would have been the end of this kind of hex you have over the Leafs. The Leafs would beat them in 5 games. Like, I truly believe that. And you know how much it takes to believe that at this point. Like, the Bruins just almost no matter what's happened the last dozen years, they beat the Leafs. They just always do. But this team is so far off, I think. And I think the Leafs are starting to figure out some good things. They're starting to get some secondary scoring. Matthews' two-way game, as I said with the Four Nations, I mean, his two-way game's been pretty great all this year and last year as well. So I think maybe finally in Mitch Marner's last year in Toronto, they would have actually gotten past the Bruins. But thankfully for us, I don't think that's even going to have a chance to play out because I don't think the Bruins are going to make the playoffs. And the Bruins don't think the Bruins are going to make the playoffs. But, like, think of how tough they looked last year against Toronto. Like, that's when it all started, man. That game 5 and 6 where they were just like going entire periods without a shot. Like, that was a precursor to not only the next series, but obviously the next year as well. And Pat Maroon had that great story a couple weeks ago on Spit and Chicklets where he was talking about that series and saying in game 7, like the intermission going into overtime, Jake DeBrusk being like, we don't lose to Toronto. I own Toronto. We don't lose to them. And just this supreme confidence that they had, even in the darkest of times in that series. They were like, no, we don't do that. We don't lose to Toronto. Good thing. And they haven't for a long time, by the way. I mean, they haven't lost a playoff series to them since like the 50s. Like anytime these two met up, it was belt to ass, no contest. The Bruins win all the time. Game 7 at the Garden, every time. And it happens every time. But it wouldn't happen this year. So thankfully, these two teams are not meeting in the playoffs, because I don't think they would have that same swagger. Or certainly they wouldn't have earned that same swagger. And there's no Jake DeBrusk, who does kill the Leafs. Like, I'll give him credit. He did nail that. Like, he beats the Leafs pretty good all the time. No Jake DeBrusk in that room anymore. And it's one in a long list of problems for the Bruins this year. So glad that that's not happening, but they will face off tonight. We'll see how that goes. In terms of how the rest of the season is going, you heard the press conference on Sunday. Don Sweeney is waving the white flag on this Bruins team. Hampus Lindholm is not coming back. Hampus Lindholm is not walking through that door. Charlie McAvoy is probably not walking through that door. With the time left in the season, I seriously doubt Charlie McAvoy is coming back this season. And now you got to start playing the game here. Less than 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. And by the way, Justin Brazeau is already a scratch for tonight's game against Toronto. So by the time you're listening to this, he might already be gone. That might just be the first shoe to drop. And I mean, please go for it. Trade Justin Brazeau. I would welcome that with open arms. I'd drive him to Logan if I could. But the big trade chip, and there are many trade chips for this Bruins team, none of them really elite, but there are certainly plenty. When you talk about Brazeau and possibly Geekie, probably not Lindholm anymore, but Coyle and Carlo and Korpisalo, there's plenty of guys you can send out to the chopping block and get something for them. But the elite, I guess, the closest they have to an elite trade chip is their captain and team legend, Brad Marchand. And there's been all kinds of rumors. I know we've addressed it on this show. I've talked about it several times. But now they've both been asked about it in the last couple of days. Don Sweeney said, the goal is to get an extension with Brad. We're working on an extension. And we want him to be a Bruin for life. And with Brad Marchand, he says, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave Boston. It would certainly be weird. And I'm getting pretty curt when it comes to this. Because at this point, as much as I love Brad Marchand, I kind of want the Bruins to trade him. Because, it's simple business here. They're not going anywhere this year. Nowhere. They're not making the playoffs. And there's really not a lot of help coming down the pike here. Okay? Like, they're still the worst farm system in all of hockey. They don't draft well. They don't have a lot of premium draft picks. Like, this is going to get worse before it gets better in all likelihood. And the thing that can ramp up that rebuild, that retool, whatever you want to call it, really a rebuild, is trading Brad Marchand. He's going to be 37 in May, but these kinds of deals usually garner a first-round pick and maybe even a high second. If you can get a first-round pick for 36-year-old Brad Marchand, forget all the sentimental bullshit. You pull the trigger on that deal. I'm sorry. Thank you for your years of service. You will always be a Bruins legend. Your number will be in the rafters. You're going to the Hockey Hall of Fame as a Boston Bruin. But right now, you're going to be a Minnesota Wild. You are going to be an Edmonton Oiler. You're going to be a Dallas Star. You're going to be a Colorado Ave. If you can get a first-round pick for Brad Marchand, forget all the sentimentality. We're done. Let's do this thing. And honestly, I wish the Bruins had done it at other points. I look at how things ended with Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, Zdeno Chara, Tuukka Rask, these pillar players for you, these Hall of Famers, these number retirees that you're going to have. How did it end with them? Looking back on it, if you could have got a first-round pick for one of those guys, like a Chara, when your team was still pretty good, but weren't really utilizing him anymore, you could have got a first-round pick for him. How about David Krejci? Bergeron may be a little bit different. I thought he was the best till the end. How about Tuukka Rask? When you took that flyer on him coming back the middle of that next season, when you had already went out and signed Linus Ullmark, and you had the young kid and Jeremy Swayman. I think it was before you traded Vladar too. Like, wouldn't you just look how that turned out? And now you have an opportunity where you it should be easier. You're not good the way you were when those guys were on the rocking chair and cruising to the end of their career with the Bruins. Those teams were good. So I can say, oh, well, at least we were going for something. Fine. This team is not. So why would Brad Marchand even want to stay here? He wants to battle this out for the next 2-3 seasons? For what, man? They're not going anywhere. Get your name on the cup again. Have another day with that thing. Right off into the sunset. Or, as I've already brought up on this show, you can do all of that. You can go out and you can play in another final. You can win another Stanley Cup. And then you can come back to the Bruins. You're a free agent this year. Like, anyone who knows who's going after you knows it's probably going to be a rental anyway. You could still fetch a first-round pick for that. So to that end, it's like, brother, why would you want to? Why would the Bruins want to? But knowing the Bruins and their sentimentality, they're probably going to appease some of the fan base and sign him to a 2-year extension through age 39 instead of getting a first-round pick for him when you're about to rebuild. I know he can give you good leadership, and I know the rumor around the team is that, you know, there are just some guys who aren't listening, that Marchand's doing a good job, but some guys aren't listening. And maybe that's why you want him in for a rebuild, but when it comes down to it, you have 2 guys who are alternate captains who you're not going to trade. And if you think that highly of them as leaders, then maybe they should be the leaders of this next team, those guys being Pasternak and McAvoy. And B, when you're going to strip it down to the studs here, you need some talent. We talk about it with the Patriots in the NFL landscape. The thing that you need more than anything if you're the Bruins is some goddamn talent and some draft picks. Those are the top 2 things you need. Third, at best, would be Brad Marchand. But really, he's probably like the 10th thing that you need in this rebuild. Okay? You need your star core players, which are going to be McAvoy, Pasternak, Swayman, whatever you think of Swayman. And you need talent, young talent, and draft picks. Those are all things that are way more important to your organization right now and in the next 5 years than Brad Marchand. And if Brad really wants to stay a Bruin and Don Sweeney really wants him to retire a Bruin, go and fetch a first-round pick for him and then sign him in the summer. But knowing this team, they'll probably let it go by on March 7th, the trade deadline, and on March 9th, they will announce a 2-year extension with Brad Marchand. At the end of the day, I love the guy, but I don't think that would be a good move for the Bruins. I really don't. And it seems weird to talk about trading a franchise icon and being the best move for them, but I think that is full stop the best move the Bruins could make at this deadline is to get some serious draft capital and or potentially both, a good young player with some team control. It's a guy who can still score goals. He can play special teams, both units. Still plays good defense. Has experience winning the cup. Captain of another team. I think a lot of contenders would be interested in Brad Marchand. And I think if you're the Bruins, you not only have to listen to those phone calls, but you've got to make it or break it, man. Get a first-round pick for him. And hopefully, for the sentimentality sake, you bring him back on really short money in the summer. But I think that's the best trade chip the Bruins have, and it's not even close. Let me know what you guys think. Is it time for the Bruins to trade franchise icon and team captain Brad Marchand? Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out our channel a ton. We're bringing you fresh Boston sports content every weekday live on YouTube. You can join us in your lunch hour at high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for tuning into the Cam Show. For Zach Burke keeping us on the air, I'm Cam Stewart. We will see you tomorrow.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.